Well, hello, welcome again to the reading of the Greek New Testament, and I'm reading 1 John, up to chapter 5, verse 13. This is the last chapter of this letter. Tauta egrapsa humin hina ideete hotitsoen ekete ionion, tois pistuusin eis to onoma tu huiu tu theou. Kai haute estin he paresia hen ekomen prosauton hoti anti ictomatha katatothelem autu akue hemon. Kai ean oidamin hoti akue hemon ho ean itomatha. Oidamin hoti ekomen ta itemata ha ete kamen ap autu. So we get an aorist here from Grapho. This is sometimes taken to be an epistolatory aorist. That means that it's past tense in form, but is meant to be present in meaning. So I am writing. You translate it as I am writing these things to you. But I don't know. I always just think, well, it could just be I wrote these things. That is what I've just written down above. And I'm not sure one has to make a big deal of the fact that it's an aorist here. So I wrote these things to you, hina, in order that, eidete, subjunctive from oida, in order that you might know that you have life eternal. And then in apposition to the humon, I think we get the tois pistuusin, which is a dative plural participle, to the ones believing in the name of the Son of God. Now, perhaps I ought to have mentioned earlier, when we've come across this verb pistuo in this epistle, it often, not always, but generally takes the accusative. There are plenty of counter-examples, but for the most part, this pistuo plus ace and the accusative is the idiom here. And it's interesting because this is the same kind of idiom that you get in John's Gospel as well. And in fact, John and the first epistle of John use this particular construction much more often than any other New Testament writers, where they often use pistuo plus the dative. You'll also get pistuo plus n plus the dative, ace and n, of course, being interchangeable at this stage. And you even get pistuo and epi plus the dative, to believe upon. But pistuo ace is most common in John's Gospel and in 1 John, which is part of the evidence, I think, for thinking that perhaps the author of 1 John, and in fact the other epistles of John as well, was the same person who wrote John's Gospel. This is not a popular view amongst many scholars, but I just mentioned it in passing, and you can read more in the commentaries. Anyway, back to the Greek. So, to the ones believing in the name of the Son of God. And this is the paresia. We've had that word before. This is the boldness, the openness, the boldness which we have to him, that aean if itomatha, subjunctive, it's the middle subjunctive here from itio, if we might ask anything, katatot thelema autu, according to his will, akue hemon, he hears us. And if we know that akue hemon, he hears us, akue taking the genitive here, in respect of whatever, so this is that hot plus ean for an, in respect of whatever we might ask, so again it's that middle subjunctive, so it's got that sense of we might ask for ourselves in the middle. So if we know that he hears us in respect of whatever we ask, we know that we have ta itemata. This is third declension. It's itema in the singular. It's obviously connected with ITO, which is why he's used it here. Greek likes to combine nouns and verbs together from the same root. So an aitema is that which we have asked for, hence request. So we know that we have the requests, relative pronoun which, we have asked apautu from him. So there again is the perfect. As I mentioned, this writer likes the perfect forms. This is the perfect from ito. And although it looks very different from the actual underlying verb ito, it's actually perfectly regular. You get an augment in place of the reduplication. You get a lengthening of the epsilon vowel, and there's your perfect cluster here telling you it's perfect tense. So we know that we have the requests which we have asked from him. Ean tis ide ton adelphon autu hamatanonta, hamatian me pros thanaton, aitese kai dose auterzo ein, tois hamatanus sin me pros thanaton. Esti hamatia pros thanaton. U periakenes lego hina erotese, pasa adikia hamatia estin kai estin hamatia u pros thanaton. This is a complicated theological paragraph here. Again, I'll leave you to read what the learned commentators have to say about it, but the Greek simply says, if someone sees his brother sinning, present participle, sinning a sin. Now that's very Hebraic. Sinning a sin, me pros thanaton, not towards death, in other words, not leading to death. He will ask, this is the tis, he will ask and he will give, so life to him. So I've probably got a change of subject here. I think the first one, tis, he will ask and understand God will give life to him. To the ones sinning, not with regard to death. So it's a kind of A pattern here. So he begins with this expression here, this sinning not with regard to death, and then repeats it again at the end of the sentence. Estin hamatia, there is a sin, pros thanaton, that leading to death. Regarding that one, I do not say that he might ask. This is from erotao, this is a subjunctive again. So I do not say that he, the subject of this one here, eroteso, again will be this tis. So I do not ask that I do not say anyone might ask about this. Pasa adikia hamatia estin. Every act of unrighteousness is hamatia, is a sin, and there is, notice esti with that accent there as well, so there is a sin not leading to death. Complicated paragraph. Oidemen hoti pas ho gegene menos ektu ukamatane al ho genethes ektu tere auton kai hoponeros uk haptatai autu. Oidemen hoti ektu esmen kai cosmos holos ento ponero ketai. Oidemen de hoti hopios tu heke kai dedoken henin di anoian hina genoskomen ton alethinon, and I'll just pause there. It goes to the new page. So we know that everyone, the one having been born, this is that genao verb again, this is the perfect passive participle. So we know that everyone having been born from God does not sin. But the one having been born, this is the aorist passive participle here from genao, but the one having been born from God Now, there's variant reading here, and it's not quite clear exactly what this means. Literally, keeps him. One of the variant readings is heauton, keeps himself, or maintains himself, or perhaps almost protects himself. Some of the modern translators here render protects him, the sense being that the one who is born from God, that is the believer, protects someone else. The Greek is very strange and ambiguous here. You'll need to consult the commentaries, but that's what the Greek is saying. So the one being born from God either keeps himself or protects himself, or keeps himself free of sin or something. Various options. And hoponeros, the evil, well, it could be the evil one, and then uk haptatai, does not touch him. Haptamai takes a genitive. Hoponeros, it could be the evil man, it could be the evil one. He's probably used that with the article before, earlier in this letter, probably meaning the evil one, and so that's probably what it means here. So the evil one does not touch him. Oidamen, we know that we are from God, kai hokosmos holos, and all of the world, katai, from kamai, lies, ento ponero, well, either in evil, or in the evil one, or perhaps in the power of the evil one. Various possible translations here. Oidamen, but we know that the Son of God, heike, this is from heiko, another one of these verbs of coming. It's perfect in English, in meaning, but it's present in form. So it's heiko, but it means I have come. It's a very standard classical Greek word, which you do get in the New Testament from time to time. So we know that the Son of God has come, kai dedoken, so he has given heimin to us, dianoian, understanding, in order that we might know, subjunctive here. Now, alethinos is an adjective, and here it's being used with an article, so it's probably not right to say the truth, but to say that which is true, or the true thing. So he's given to us understanding that we might know that which is true, or the true thing. Kai esmen, and we are ento alethino, ento huio autu Jesu Christu, hutos estin ho alethinos theos kai tsoen ionos. Technia laxity hiauta apotone adolone. So we are in the true thing, in the Son, in his Son. So we are in that which is true, in his Son, Jesus the Messiah. Hutos, this is the true, now there's that use of alethinos as an adjective here. This is the true God and life eternal. Technia, children, phulaxati, this is an aorist middle imperative. It's an aorist imperative from phulasso. So guard hiauta yourselves, and it's neuter agreeing with technia, plural of technion. So little children, guard yourselves, apotone adelone, from idols. Now this is a rather funny way of ending a letter. Normally these letters end with something further here, but perhaps that's all we have of it that survives here. So it finishes off, children, guard yourselves from idols. And that's the end of chapter 5 and the end of reading of 1 John.